Alright guys, so animation number 1 and animation number 2 are complete, and it is finally time to dive into animation number 3. As you guys know, this is the same workflow over and over again. We're just going to watch through this section. We're going to ask ourselves, what do the people need to see from here? And we're also going to ask ourselves, well, how can we place this in a cool way and add the really cool colors? And then we're just going to create a high quality animation. And so far, this is what we have created. First, you must learn both Premiere Pro and After Effects. Then you must learn a high quality editing style to stylize your content with. And finally, you're going to need to create a high quality personal brand to showcase your work. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and get to work on making this. So what I say here, finally, you have to create a high quality personal brand to showcase your work. I want you guys to ask yourself, pause the video and ask yourself the question, right? Out of this whole scene, what does the viewer need to see, right? What does the viewer need to extract? What kind of value does he need to see in this specific clip? Finally, you're going to need to create a high quality personal brand to showcase your work. What I'm saying is he has to create a brand to showcase his work. So how do we show this? Well, one of the easiest ways we could do this is we could showcase a picture of a brand. It's nice and simple. The second way we could do this is we could showcase an icon of a brand, which could probably look even better. And honestly, I think that's probably what I'm going to go with. So let's go ahead and make this. Let's go ahead and make something awesome. We can either create an icon of a brand, or I can show you guys how to create a brand UI. Okay, so let me show you guys exactly how we could do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this dark background here, and for the third animation, because we're on our third animation, we created the first background, second background, let's create the third one as well. We're just going to go with one that's nice and simple. We're going to go with a black and white. Okay, so black for the background and a white for the vignette. Oh, sorry, I probably won't be able to do that. Yeah, because the black background won't fit. So we're going to go with a gray background instead, like this, a dark gray, and then go with this. So this is our first background, second background, third background. I think it looks good. And then for the UI, we're just going to create a cool UI animation. So to do this, I'm going to create a shape layer, and I'm going to add just a quick kind of rectangle here. Okay. So the whole plan is I want to make this kind of plain, and then I want to add a UI image on this, like an actual UI. Okay, I think that would look pretty cool. Or we could try and find some cool icons. So let's go to flat icons like this, and let's go ahead and try and find a UI, maybe a profile picture. We'll definitely need that to create a UI. Okay, you guys will see what I'm getting to. Let's use this one. Why not? Right? Let's go for it. Let's go ahead and add this in. Cool, awesome. All right, and let's go ahead and add it into Premiere Pro, since we just created it, so we might as well. And then what else do we need? Let's go with that. Let's add a follow button. So let's just search up for follow. See if we can find a follow button. Can't really find the follow button. We could do these, maybe message for the message icon. Yeah, perhaps we can add a message, like a mail, something like this. Let's add that in. You guys will see what I'm going to. I just want to kind of keep this a surprise so you guys can see it, and then you guys can start creating it with me. So obviously all this stuff is located in the Google Drive if you guys downloaded it. So that's our message icon. And then finally, what else can we add? So we got the message. We need a follow. We need some kind of follow icon. So let's just have some friend with a plus over here. That works pretty nicely. Okay, awesome. Let's go ahead and add this into Premiere Pro like so. And then finally, we need one more, and we're just going to need the report button like that, just to kind of bring this UI all together. No, not report. Okay, let's go with, so we got message, we got follow. Let's do call. Why not? Let's do it in a green, sure, whatever works. Let's bring this thing in and then just place it right here. Awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and make something cool. So since we have a cool background graphic, let's go ahead and just create a cool page like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold down shift, and I'm just going to basically draw a square. That's going to allow me to draw a square. You guys can make one smaller like that to create a cool UI page, right? Or we can just kind of make a big one like this. And I'll show you guys how to create UI. So this is a small sneak peek into what you'll be making in After Effects. And then we're going to make the shape layer. Let's start by selecting the eyedropper and copying the background color, and then just making it a bit darker. Okay, we're going to make it something like this. Awesome. We're not going to have an animation here. We're just going to have all this stuff together. Okay, there's unfortunately no way to round things, like round corners off inside of Premiere Pro. We have a way to do that inside of After Effects, but in Premiere Pro, it is a bit annoying. There's no real way to make it happen. So we're just going to leave it as it is. Okay. We're going to get our profile icon. So our user profile is black, which is not a good color for our user profile. We want to use a gray color. So let's add in a tint over here. And what a tint allows us to do is change the black color into something else. The map black to changes the black values in this picture to whatever color you set. I'm going to use a dark gray, like that, maybe something like this. And we're just going to like make this smaller and just place it on the left side, like here, top left, right? Something like a UI page. Then we're going to add a text over here and we're going to put the name of the UI page. So I'm just going to duplicate whichever one of these texts, right? And then just put it up here. And we're just going to remove all animations from it. We just want a default text. And we're going to just kind of use our selector tool to change this to something like a name. So let's go with Joseph video editing, like this. Okay, you can choose whichever one you want. And I'm going to place this in the top left. Okay. Now, just as we did with our previous text in the other animation we did the other day, we're just going to duplicate this and we're going to bring this thing down. We're now going to create a bio. So we're going to create a bio over here, a description. So we're going to call we're just going to type something out. Freelance video editor looking, and we're going to get a paragraph, looking for jobs online that pay well, like this. Okay. And now we're going to select all of this. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change my text settings. So the first thing I'm going to use a extra light one. And I'm going to align these to the left side. And I'm going to change the distance in between them. I'm going to change the font size first of all. Make it smaller, like that. And I'm going to change the distance between the lines and make it also smaller. And that looks pretty good. And now we're just going to move this thing to where our name is. Like that. And we could place this thing here, which looks pretty well. I think that looks pretty awesome. Okay, let's go and maybe place them down so that they're both centered with the image on the left side. Like this. I think that looks pretty awesome. And then we've got our icons, which we're going to add in the bottom left. So we've got our messaging icon here. So we're going to add this thing over here. Let's put this thing on the left side under here, like so. We've got our phone call icon. So we're going to add this thing as well. Right, let's make sure it's the same size as well. So if you guys want to get the exact same size, just put them on top of each other like this. Like that. And then just size it until you get the perfect one. I think that's pretty cool. We're just going to move it to the right side like this. And we finally got our follow, I believe it is. Yeah, it's our follow icon. And let's go ahead and make it the same size and place it down here as well. So we're going to make this thing smaller, place it down here. I think it's pretty cool. Put this thing right here on the right side. All right, amazing. And now let's go ahead and color all of them the same color. So we're going to add a color to the tint. And we're going to change the map black. You can change this to whichever colors you want, which is obvious. Let's go ahead and change this to a, let's go with the orange. So we're going to go with an orange over here, a dark orange like this. Maybe a lighter orange. I think that's pretty cool. And then the white, which is the center, we're going to go for a dark orange. Like that. I think that's pretty cool. Awesome. Phone call. You can mess around with these until you get some cool colors. You don't have to do the same thing I'm doing. We're also going to go with an orange over here for the white colors. Let's go for this kind of orange over here. And then for the center, we're also going to make it a dark orange. Like that. Awesome. And then for the follow us icon, we're also going to go with an orange. I think dark orange always looks the best. So we're going to map the black to a dark orange. Like so. Just make sure we map it to the same orange as this one. Amazing. And I think that looks nice and good. So since we're going with the orange, let's first of all make sure all these layers are aligned just so we don't have anything start before anything else. And they all finish at the same time, which I don't think they do. Awesome. Nice. Amazing. And then for this thing, I'm probably not going to have an animation. I'm probably just going to leave it as it is, like this. And that is pretty much it. That is all I want to do for this one. So one thing that did come to mind is I'm thinking of moving these all up, like here. Let's move them up to 650. And let's make all of their Y values 650. So they're all on the same horizontal value. 650 here as well. So they're all the same value. And then we're just going to shorten this one down. So like the UI, we don't need that bottom part. We could just select the shape and then just like, can we select the path and bring it down probably? Yeah, we can most likely do that. I believe it is here. No, what is this one? This path here. And we're just gonna size it down like that and just move it up kind of like here, just so we get a better UI. I think that just looks a lot better. A few ways that we can instantly make this better is we can make these icons smaller, because right now they are huge. Let's make each one 30. I think 30 is going to look a lot better. Let's go and make all of them 30. It's going to look awesome. And that is pretty much it. That's all I had in mind. Honestly, I think that is as good as it looks. We can also place things around until they look better. Like I would probably end up placing my profile icon somewhere up here. But honestly, no, I think it looks better over here on the side. So I'm going to keep this big. Maybe I'll make it smaller, like 435, 30. And then just place it over here on the left side. And there we go. I think that looks awesome. And with this being said, guys, I'm just going to leave this at that. You're going to need to create a high quality personal brand to showcase your work. And all this can be done in just 90 days. Now, if you want to create a zoom in, then we could just individually add a zoom in to each one, or we can nest all these together. So group them all together and then just have a zoom in. So we're going to group the follow, the icon, the messages. Then we're going to group the words. So freelance and the subtitle. We're going to also group the user and the graphic, but we're not going to group the background. So we're just going to do all these. We're going to nest them. And so now if I select the nested sequence and I change it, you guys can see it moves. And so now I'm just going to add a transform effect to it like this. And I'm going to keyframe the current scale, move forward and change it to maybe 110. Just a quick zoom in like this. And we're just going to set up a quick zoom in. Finally, you're going to need to create a high quality personal brand to showcase your work. And now this is so much easier to do in After Effects. However, we still got it done inside of Premiere Pro. And with that being said, guys, that is our final animation. And all this can be done in just 90 days inside of Ultimate Editor. So if we go ahead and watch through what we have created, our first animation was a cool background with a pop-up of Premiere Pro and After Effects. Our second animation, we learned how to do a very cool environment with a focus in the center. And our fourth animation, we created a very simple UI inside of Premiere Pro. This is what we get. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how you master video editing in 2025. First, you must learn both Premiere Pro and After Effects. Then you sorry for the background there, guys. First, you must learn both Premiere Pro and After Effects. Then you must learn a high quality editing style to stylize your content with. And finally, you're going to need to create a high quality personal brand to showcase your work. And all this can be done in just 90 days inside of Ultimate Editors. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen, without overcomplicating it, without making this any more complex, we have a complete video. It's finally time to dive into sound design and music, which is exactly what we're going to be doing in the next course. So I'm going to catch you guys in the next course where we're going to dive into sound design and making music in the last one. And then we're just going to go ahead and finish off this video, conclude you guys, and I'll go ahead and inform you guys what the next step as a video editor is and exactly why. So stay tuned because I want to congratulate you guys for finishing the course. You're almost there. A few more courses and you're done. Let's go ahead and dive right in.